Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me, I think, are two people who are currently wearing active camouflage. It's Megan Hoffmeyer, and it's Adam Hodgins. See, I knew it. Where are you?
Should we both be able to play the same gag?
I thought, be quiet as long as we can. He won't see us.
I saw a laser beam that looked like a Reebok logo shooting into my chest, and I was like, oh, great, Megan's in here somewhere.
I thought you might go for a Hot Predator Summer intro.
Hot Predator Summer?
Because you know why they're here.
So
Heat and violence.
The last time I had you two in a room, not in a room, well,
Podcast.
recording about a final fight, the episodes are normally 20 to 30 minutes. We went for 55. So, yeah, no, that was lovely. But I think it's one of the all-time, like, Mark meltdowns on MFF. We're just like, guys!
It was pretty epic.
I have to edit this.
Yeah.
You guys pushed me to the limit.
My argument, though, is if Megan and I and you go 55 minutes, you don't want to edit any of that out. Just, like, print it. It's
Solid
all gold.
Cut the check.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the witches, it's all gold.
So, I want to thank you, Adam, for coming out. So Megan and I were originally going to talk about this final fight together in Predator 2 against Danny Glover, played by Lieutenant Mike Harrigan, played by Danny Glover, and also for a little bit Special Agent Peter Keyes, played by Gary Busey, who should have been Schwarzenegger, and then the City Hunter, played by Kevin Peter Hall, who is returning from the first Predator. Actually, they're called Yautja. So it's Lieutenant Mike Harrigan versus the City Hunter, and I'm going to say something really controversial because this is my favorite final fight of the entire franchise.
Wow.
And do you want to know why, Adam and Megan?
Bold statement.
I want to know why, but I also have a comment. But go ahead.
It takes Danny Glover 205 seconds to defeat the drain pipe that he climbs down. All right? Now, the final fight aboard the Yautja spaceship takes 48 seconds for Danny Glover to defeat the City Hunter. So the main villain of this piece is the drain pipe that Danny Glover, who is exhausted, he's really tired, he's talking to himself.
He's afraid of heights.
Climbs down.
And birds.
And he goes, this is what someone from The Guardian wrote. Danny Glover is seasoned cop Mike Harrigan, who, like Murtaugh in Lethal Weapon, is just too old for this stuff. Harrigan sounds out of breath every time he speaks, sweats profusely, and is stuck with wearing an incredibly unflattering pair of middle-aged man slacks. He shouldn't stand a chance, yet you know that somehow he triumphs anyway. Watching him overcome the odds to best the malevolent creature is an absolute riot. He's like, and if Harrigan's screaming, "That's right, a-hole," as happens, as he buzzsaws the Predator's guts out, that is a heartwarming ending to a true underdog story. And that's why I love it. This isn't Flexi Arnold, right? This isn't Flexi Stallone. This is sweaty Danny Glover talking to himself, crawling slowly down drain pipes, going down elevator shafts, complaining, and then getting whacked by the Predator, tricking him, stabbing him in the gut, and winning. It is absolutely beautiful, and it's one of the final fights that is a true outlier, and it's unique in the action genre.
So I want to say, Glover following Arnold in a direct sequel was a bold move. Because it's a whole different kind of star, whole different kind of character. And I don't think in this movie he's doing the, I'm too old for this. I think in this movie he's portrayed as like this, kind of out there. He's almost portrayed like Riggs is portrayed in Lethal Weapon.
His aggression is 40% above the norm.
Oh, yes. I love that about his profile that's on the screen.
There's stats that talk about how aggressive he is.
Yeah,
it shines through.
But because of Lethal Weapon, you look at Danny Glover and associate him with he's tired and old. And they even have the captain from Lethal Weapon in this movie as well.
Yep.
Right? Richard Donner's brother there. And so you get a real Lethal Weapon vibe from it. But Arnold Schwarzenegger in the first Predator was such a I'm physically strong enough to beat you kind of fight where it was a slugfest. That this end fight was so long and drawn out, and it was almost like a Rocky Balboa boxing match, which is I just need to this until he wears himself out.
Absolutely.
Right?
I mean, the Predator has to kill all the people in the meat factory. and he has to blow up Busey, but then Busey comes back, and then the Predator gets shot 9 times, escapes, and he gets tackled by Glover, gets its arm cut off, heals its arm in a bathroom, which is a beautiful scene, and then has to fight Danny. I bet you this City Hunter is just like, come on. Like, who is this? Like, even though he picked Mike Harrigan, so in the beginning, the Yautja specifically picks Harrigan to hunt, and that's when he goes after, Maria Conchita Alonso, goes after Bill Paxton, goes after Ruben Blades, goes after all of them. But I just love how, like, Busey could have called it a day. Or not, no, I'm sorry. Mike Harrigan could have called it a day. He could have just said, I'm done. Like, I'm good. I'm happy. But instead he follows the Predator to his ship and kills it. And it's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. He wants to see this through. And, I think we get that way sometimes where we can get fixated on something. And even though it's maybe not in our best interest to finish it out, we just like, on principle, I need to see this through.
Yeah, when you're that persistent and you're 40% more aggressive than most people, you're gonna do this.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's a weird combination of things going on. But even the like, this gun's not big enough, you need a bigger gun. I was like, oh, they're really painting him as like this tough guy. Mm-hmm. But you can't be tougher than Schwarzenegger. In the 80s, you just couldn't be tougher.
Absolutely.
And so I think they played it right, and I think that a lot of things happened. So like you said, the Predator got shot a lot. He got his arm cut off, but you can see he was struggling as well. He was doing the old man sweat thing.
Yes.
In like the Predator version, like he had to use his respirator at one point in time.
Yeah.
Like he had that like a little mask to like get a shot of oxygen or whatever they breathe out in Yautja home planet to kind of get charged back up. So he was also doing the Danny Glover sweat thing as well, just in a Yautja kind of way.
That's a beautiful point. And when Kevin Peter Hall, there's a documentary about this. Kevin Peter Hall said that his Predator was kind of a wild boy in this. So maybe it was young and it like overexerted itself early. So then when the final chase, so young fighters, the first time I ever boxed in a ring, I boxed for 90 seconds and I puked. So maybe this Predator is kind of a wild boy and exerted everything, kind of underestimated its like the people that it's fighting, and then it had to get stuck with Harrigan chasing him.
And it knew it had a fancy first aid kit with it.
Yeah, exactly.
That could crush mirrors and tile and turn it into arms.
Megan, can you tell me what you said after we finished this movie? How it made you feel?
What did I say?
You were like, "This is gnarly." What was you?
I don't know. It was this the movie where I was like, it was very like aggressively brutal.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that out of just a straight up action movie. I expected it to be more, action, rah, muscles, all those things. And it was quite violent. Like the deaths were very graphic. I would look up at the screen and go, oh my gosh.
Yeah, violent.
Those people are hanging upside down, letting all their blood out, or there's organs here, or all kinds of gross.
As a father of a 13 or 14-year-old son who's really into the Predator and likes the idea of it, and like this is the one that I'm like, I don't think he's ready to watch it yet. Like of all the Predator movies, this is the most gnarly one where I'm like, I don't think that one's watchable quite yet.
And that's a great plan, because I remember watching this when I was young as well. The interesting thing about the first Predator is it's bloody, yes, but it's just very action-y. Like it's just dudes being blown up by an alien. When you think about aliens,
it's like sanitary action.
Like Aliens, it's a bunch of Marines fighting aliens who are killing them. Die Hard, aside from a couple scenes, it's a pretty chill action movie. I don't remember much from my youth, but I do specifically remember watching Predator 2 and just going, man, this is like when the bodies are hanging upside down.
Oh yeah.
When the Jamaicans attack the penthouse. The subway scene where Bill Paxton gets murdered.
Oh, yeah.
I'm watching this movie, and I'm thinking to myself, this is mean. And, the director who did this, he also directed Stephen Hopkins. He did Nightmare on Elm Street 5, which Freddy, he likes the horror genre. And, what's interesting, too, I think you guys are going to like this. He actually went on to direct Judgment Night, which is a hunting movie.
Oh.
And then he went on to direct The Ghost in the Darkness, which is another hunting movie. And then he went to do 24, where he's always hunting people.
Yeah, that's...
So
I love The Ghost in the Darkness. Like, love that movie.
Yeah, we got to do it. We've been talking about it for years, and I feel like I keep not doing it. And then you always bring it up. We need to do Beastmaster. Let's do Make Adam Happy series and talk Beastmaster and Ghost in the Darkness.
All large giant cats.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
You know what's another great big cat hunting movie that we need to cover? Ghost Ship.
Ooh, and RRR.
Mm-hmm.
He hunts a big cat. And that,
Yeah, there's no cats. I was just saying it because we need to cover Ghost
yeah, we
Ship.
do need to cover Ghost Ship. Yeah,
I was like, I remember the cat in that film, but maybe I'm not watching the director's cut.
I was like, did I miss something?
It's the special John Pogue edition.
Yeah, we do need to cover it, though, because John Pogue, who is on Deep Blue Sea, the podcast, he's the director of Deep Blue Sea, he wrote it. So we're going to cover Ghost Ship on the show.
We should, you know how there's Shark Week?
Yeah.
We should do Cat Week, where we do 5 episodes about big cats.
Cat Month.
Yes.
So, okay, we'll do that. Ghost in the Darkness, Ghost Ship.
There can't be 10 cats.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure someone says the word cat.
I'm sure there's a ghost cat somewhere.
But
look, it's in the corner. You can't see it.
Ghost cat.
It's got Yautja armor on.
Yeah. Why is there a laser cannon on a tabby cat?
Oh, man.
It's a flurkin.
Oh, there we go. Oh, goose.
All right, we're going all over the place.
Now, one thing I do like about this movie is you have the meatpacking plant attack where Gary Busey and his crew, and this is his first movie back after the car accident. So Gary Busey's back, and he has, I call them the khaki crew, Adam. His team of... What's up?
They are the khaki crew, and isn't
Adam Baldwin?
Yeah.
Adam Baldwin? A strapping young Adam Baldwin?
Oh, yes.
And he's
so exciting.
He survives, too. And he just comes at the end and yells at him.
Like, Adam Baldwin is
that's his
actors.
character.
What?
But Adam Baldwin is one of those actors that looks like he's 42 years old, no matter what age he is.
Yeah.
So, like, when he was 23, he looked 42. When he's 60, he's going to look 42. Like, he just always looks 42.
Yeah, I was going to say he looks very much like he does on Chuck.
Mm-hmm. You know, he signed one of my Chuck Blu-rays and wrote a nice message when I was working Comic-Cons.
Let's not get too crazy here, but I will segue and say he is the nicest celebrity I've ever met.
Yeah, he's super friendly. He gets it. Like, he knows fans are there. He'll chat with you. You know what's crazy? Well, we'll get back to the movie soon, but sometimes I worked with a bunch of actors in my life and people at conventions, and I think people at conventions used to be much more surly because it was more of like a D-list, C-list, maybe sometimes a B-list. It wasn't until SDCC hit big, it wasn't until, shows around the country, Walking Dead got big, that maybe A-listers started coming out. So for years, Adam and I think we worked with people who were quite grumpy because they kind of were there, not many lines, and so I was never used to people being nice to me. So whenever a celebrity was nice to me, I didn't know what to say. Like, hey man, you want to chat? I'm like, whoa. Like, I'm used to just getting a death glare and telling someone to get cream in their coffee.
The weekend I met you, Mark, was the time I first saw a celebrity go above and beyond. And so I went to work at a convention just volunteering. Mark was running it. He very quickly promoted me to like the black shirt from the yellow shirt because he knew quality when he saw it.
Yep.
And Ray, if you remember this, but Ray Park was running late.
Yep.
And there was like a lineup at his booth. And then he stayed like after the show was done to make sure everybody got to like hang out with him. Remember he taught that kid how to do like a back kick? Yeah,
he was awesome. And yeah, he had a class and he kind of missed some stuff, but he realized he messed up and he totally went over and above and everyone was happy with it. Like,
he was awesome.
Like, I hated staying late, but the way he was doing it, I'm like, we can stay. Actually, I was just like, Adam, you stay late because I gave you the black shirt. Now I can go.
Yeah, Mark was like, I'm going to join the class.
Yeah. You see me throwing back kicks?
Yeah. That sounds totally like it.
He misjudges it.
Oh, man, I just knock out Ray Park. Just that, I would put that on my resume. I'd retire on that. Like, Darth Maul caught him with a spin kick. You caught Darth Maul with a spin kick. Wait, you can spin kick? Like, that's the first question people ask.
Who taught you how to spin kick, Darth Maul?
Speaking of kicks, we just watched a movie called The Princess with Joey King, and she throws excellent front kicks in it, and the movie's 80% violence, and it's very fun.
I like that.
Just letting everyone know. No, one thing I do like about this is I like him being this City Hunter being in the city because it kind of like I don't like the camouflage. Adam, you know this. Like Megan, you know this. I complain about it all the time. He goes invisible and has a laser blaster on its shoulder, and it can jump from tree to tree and is an absolute beast. So it's like, it's not like some guy sitting in a kind of like a hut waiting to shoot a turkey. Like, this is a predator who is invisible with a shoulder cannon.
Mm-hmm.
So the hunts never, like, I've always been bothered about this, but I think this movie did a great job of in the meatpacking plant short circuiting its gear and then having it lose an arm when it's about to blow itself up like a chump. So then it loses an arm. And then
but Mark,
what's up?
Mark, the reason you don't like the camouflage is that I had my son and I just watched Prey, and so we were having this conversation, and he was like a little upset because he's like, oh man, like I was rooting for the Predator, and I was like, but he's the bad guy. Like, we love the Predator creatures so much and the design so much that we forget he's the bad guy, and the bad guys always need to be better equipped than the good guys because the good guys have to overcome the bad guys. But you're looking at the Predator from like, oh, it's kind of cheap, like he's invisible with a laser cannon. Like, yeah, because he's the bad guy, Mark. Like, he's not being cheap. He is the bad guy. So
I don't like it. But that's a great, Adam, that is a point that is wonderful, and what you said makes complete sense, and it's beautiful, and I respect it. I just, for some, like, I guess I just don't like Predator flaunting their kills. It's like, hey, there was a guy standing in the corner, I blew him up, here's his skull. Like, no, he wasn't even paying attention to you, and you blew him up.
Villain.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I get it. I just don't think the most impressed I've ever been with the Predator is in the movie Predators, when I realized they have a scouting system that can catch and transport serial killers to hunting planets.
That's a lot of logistics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's running this? There's like an entire.
And they profiled these people?
There's fuel. There's jets. They have to make the things that shoot them to Earth. Like, who's the scouting system? Do they hire humans? Do they have familiars like vampires do?
So on this, Mark?
What?
This whole scouting system, who we would scout?
Yeah.
Yeah. We've it's a whole thing, and that's when you realize that the Predators are. So is the scouting planet training for people that go out and hunt on other planets? Is it like, if you graduate at the training planet, do you get to go to Earth or to wherever else?
I imagine it's like boot camp or Quantico. Don't you have to pass a bunch of tests and you have to pass boot camp? So
yeah, I think that the hunting, the Predator planet is like training. It's training.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then once you pass that, once you've killed somebody, but not Iko Uwe from The Night Comes For Us, because he's just too much. Listen to the episode that Adam and I recorded. But yeah, so, but with this one though, I liked, yes, the Predator is bigger, it's better, it's meaner, and the hero has to overcome it. But I like how this hero, Harrigan, is just so tenacious that he just wears this poor thing down. Like, I felt bad for the Predator towards the end, because I'm like, Harrigan is just not going to stop. And also, I want to say, there's a scene where Danny Glover is putting on his shirt, and he's ripped in this movie, but I think they did their best to hide it, because he's not as ripped as Arnold, so they put him in, like, dad pants.
Yeah, they gave him the Indiana Jones costume.
Oh.
They just sort of covered up his muscles, because they're like, well, he's huge, he's a gigantic guy, but he's not Arnold.
You lose track, because he's next to the Predator so much, how towering Glover actually is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
He's a big...
It's a fair fight between them towards the end. I like that they lose the arm. I think it's good screenwriting, the way they build towards the final conclusion of this. And I don't know, Megan, I saw this in 90, 91, 92, and, you know, Mark's 10-year-old brain, I was pretty confused about this movie, because I'm like, this isn't Predator. But I've always loved it, the kind of underdog Danny Glover going through here. Like, I guess I've loved that I always like the underdogs in movies too, like Kurt Russell and everything pretty much. But I don't know, I just love this fight. And I have a question for y'all. Megan, what skull or item would you like to see in that trophy case on the Yautja ship?
Oh, okay. Smaug? How's that for an answer?
That would take up its own.
It's fine. It could be its own ship.
That'd be amazing.
Flying around in Smaug's skull.
They fly around with Smaug?
Yes. As a hood ornament.
Oh. On the dashboard, just bobbling up and down?
Why not? Little wings flapping.
Oh, that's pretty good, Adam. What do you got?
I don't know if I can beat Smaug. Like, that is... So, 1990,
Yeah.
1990. Who would I like to see? So I'd like to see, it wouldn't be a skull. It would be the empty suit of RoboCop.
Oh.
Like RoboCop's helmet, but the flesh is all gone.
That's really good. Just the suit.
Just the suit.
Oh, that's really good. I would want like an 8x10 signed headshot of Swayze. Right?
Right, because that's a valid answer.
It's very Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, it's like Johnny Cage.
Johnny going around giving out headshots.
Hey, Patrick Swayze, can you sign this for me? I'm a big Roadhouse fan. And right? Patrick Swayze's like, great outfit, man, great outfit.
Do you think that Dalton could tear a throat out of a Yautja?
Yes.
Okay. Just, we don't discuss it any further. Just yes, the answer. So,
in Roadhouse, Megan, he fights this guy. I don't know if you've seen the final fight, but he rips his throat. He rips a guy's throat out of his neck. Obviously, you couldn't rip a throat out anywhere else.
Which is a very Predator move, so maybe it's part of the Predator universe.
But the problem with Swayze is he doesn't go looking. Like, he's not going to show up with guns. Right? He's not going to... The Predator's going to see him. He's like, this dude's pretty zen. Like, I respect him. The Predator's going to have to goad Swayze, like gaslight Swayze into a fight.
He's not going to read him as a threat.
Yeah, so he's going to have to make him a threat. Like,
my mark? Because nobody wins a fight.
Be nice until you don't have to. Yeah, so like I bet you the Predator would kill Sam Elliott, and then Swayze would fight him in the rain.
Do you think the Predator would also have obnoxiously loud parties next door?
Just his ship running.
Disco. Would the Predator spy Dalton, like spy on Dalton when he's doing his Tai Chi?
I think he'd look at him and be like, that's not a threat. He's just dancing in the backyard.
Yeah. Just dancing in the backyard? That's on his report that he sends home. Not a threat. Dances in backyard.
It dances in backyard.
So I want everyone listening knowing that. And Megan, we did an episode called Steel Dawn, Adam and I. That's probably back in the 100s. And they hired Swayze to be a Mad Max type character who was a sword fighter. But Swayze had no time for training. So they're like, well, you're a good dancer. So they ended up having Swayze with like the cheapest sword possible doing dance fights with these sand creatures. And so it's just Swayze doing a lot of spins.
Yeah. I think I'm going to watch that tonight now.
Yeah. It's lovely.
We should go look up some clips on YouTube.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. No, watch it. So, Meg, what were your favorite parts of this fight?
I like the way that Harrigan ends the Predator, the City Hunter, with the circular saw thingy in the gut. It's a bit of a cheap shot. He fakes him out, makes him underestimate him. It mirrors a cheap shot that the Predator pulled on him in the meatpacking house, so that was very nice.
Cheap shot for a cheap shot? He guts it, but so is that blade sharper, Megan? Because earlier the Predator got shot 9 times. Yeah. And then it gets a gut shot by its own blade. So maybe its own blade is special steel.
Yeah, I would think so. Because those were human bullets, right?
We know from this movie that the Predator metal is unlike anything on Earth.
Yeah, you're right.
It's sharp. It's very hard. And it's not steel. It's some Yautja metal. That's incredible.
Oh, crap. Because they do say that in the movie.
Yeah.
And then that guy gets killed.
This movie arc is flawless. In the movie.
One of my other favorite things about this fight is how the other group of Predators, after they let him go, they're just ready to take off in their ship. They are not waiting around for him to, like, walk out nicely.
Yeah.
He has to run his ass out of the ship so he doesn't get blasted, and he ends up diving over something.
Yeah, he almost dies.
It's hilarious.
They're like, get out of here. Here's a gun. Run.
Right.
And it brings up questions about Prey, but is that a spoiler?
I think that if people are listening to this and they haven't watched Prey, then they're listening to the wrong podcast.
Yeah, that's true. Prey's wonderful. You got to see it. Now,
Prey is fantastic.
On a scale of 1 to 10, Adam and Megan,
fantastic.
What would you give the Khaki Crew's plan on a scale of 1 to 10?
So here's the thing. It's a 10 out of 10 plan for what they know. Right? With the information that they have, it's a flawless plan. They didn't know he had multiple vision spectrums.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know what I mean? Like, the Buse did what he could.
Yeah, it didn't seem bad. I mean, they seemed to be working off of they had more knowledge than a lot of other people, and they were trying. I do find the scan when they're watching Predator on the monitors and they're like, we're tracking the scent molecules. I don't know. It's just hilarious. It made me think of, what if the Predator farts?
Wait, he just got bigger.
That needs to be an MFF t-shirt. What if the Predator farts? The t-shirt's blue, and then you see the outline of the Predator and like a cloud behind him.
What is that? Hey, Khaki Crew, what is this? Did he just fart? Abort, he farted.
Abort.
And, I mean, to be fair, Busey does say that if we corner it, it'll do a self-destruct and blow itself up. So they can't just corner it. They have to totally surprise a thing and freeze it, and then capture it and then use its science.
They have managed to collect some good intel.
Yeah.
Just not all of it, obviously.
I guess it is good intel. And then Busey is basically indestructible because he takes a full-on explosive to his face with a very large explosion. And then I do like that, he comes back later on and then just gets sliced in half and his body never lands. I remember watching that in 91, 92. I'm like, where does his upper half go?
Well, the meat from the cows never lands either. It's just everything is sliced.
Yeah, so it just hangs out in the air?
Yeah. It's like space. It all just drifts off.
Whoa. The molecule blaster blade.
Ooh.
I like that. It changes you on like a genetic level.
You know what my favorite part of this fight is?
What?
When the Predator punches that door open.
No, that's a good part. The best part of this final fight is Danny Glover going, "Oh, damn birds."
Yes.
Because
it's such a tense moment, and then these like classic bird pigeon gag, and then Danny Glover takes the time to like audibly say like, "Oh, damn birds."
And he goes, "Now where the hell am I?"
Yeah.
Why can't he stay on the ground? He's doing some A+ talking to himself.
Yeah, the more I watched it, the more endearing he gets. Just all of his chatting with himself.
But again, I think he has like a mountain to climb, especially in 1990, with not being Schwarzenegger.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is a direct sequel, right? And like, I don't think there's ever been someone as successfully to follow up Schwarzenegger with a direct sequel.
Yeah, that's tough. It's a totally different movie, brand new characters, completely different setting. I do love the intro though. You think they're shooting in the jungle, then they shoot to LA. That's a good intro. But yeah, it was an uphill battle. But Glover, I think, was really happy to take it because he's like, this is a chance for me to have a different role. So you're right. He wasn't the I'm too old for this, family guy. He was super angry, super pissed. He and his crew had like laser pointers on all of their guns. Lasers
were a big deal here.
They just looked. They had all their lasers. They had when they get out the elevator, they're posing. Like you could see why he took it because he is the hero here, and he's the one who fights the Yautja at the end and wins. So it's clear why he took it.
Okay, question for you, Mark. If you could wave your cameo wand, would you rather put Dutch in this movie in the Busey role, or Glover in Predators in the Crazy Man role?
Oh, Predators, because Dutch just overpowers it. Like Dutch it wouldn't have become Glover movie. It would have been double Dutch. His role would have been doubled. But in Predators, I love Lawrence Fishburne, but he slows Predators down to basically a halt when he shows up. So at least you'll have the cameo of Harrigan on the plane gone crazy. And then he tries to kill the people, which would be a double shock. So that would make it infinitely more interesting. What about you?
No, I'm with you 100%. I think that, especially in 1990, Schwarzenegger in this film steals the show, and it becomes a wait for that scene. Whereas Glover in Predators, I think it's enough time has passed that most of the audience would be like, "Oh, who's that guy? Who's in one of the old ones?"
Oh, yeah, good call.
Right?
What about you, Meg? Do you want Glover in Predators or Arnold in Predator 2?
Yeah, I agree with you guys.
Yeah.
I think that would be better. I like what Adam said about, it's more of a cameo that way. It's more special.
Yeah.
Later on. It's
not just more Arnold. He wouldn't have done this in 90. Like in 90 he was still T2. He was True Lies. They wanted him with like white hair and a scar on his face.
Mm.
Arnold wouldn't have done that.
No. It'd be sweet though.
He didn't do that until maybe End of Days, where he started going like, I'm kind of old.
Yeah, End of Days was pretty. Anyways, we're not going to get into my opinions on End of Days because we need to stick to Predator 2 here. But I do think that there was it was almost a comedy beat when he was fixing his arm with the drywall and the mirror and all that. Like there was almost a laugh played for there in the middle of this very intense, knuckle dragon fight.
He goos himself for 5 minutes.
I have to agree. I mean, it's kind of funny. And also, it speaks to how advanced that they are, that they know what mirror and tile are composed of in order to know that it goes in their arm mixture.
Yeah. Does it take buckshot out of their body?
I think no, it don't.
It's like magnet goo.
It's magnet goo. But no, there's been other predators that have taken more point blank range gunshots to more different body parts and have survived.
Yeah, that's true.
So history tells us that this guy was still doing pretty good.
Man, cheating.
Yeah,
he gets shot 9 times.
He's the bad guy.
He's the bad. That's the T-shirt. Mark. He's the bad. This would be a 2-hour episode. Mark. He's the bad guy. Come on. But this is what I guess going back to what I said before, like in the beginning. What I love about this fight, and I keep saying it, but it's just, can you think of any final fights like this where just the hero in 1990 following a Schwarzenegger movie, right, Meg, is just sweaty. And
that go on for like 45 minutes?
Yeah.
No, I can't think of any.
Megan and I sat down, Adam, and we're like, let's watch the final fight. It's 30 minutes.
So this final fight is exhausting.
Yeah.
When you watch Predator 1 final fight, it's like you're like cheering. It's like a boxing match. You're like, yeah, get him. By the end of this, you're like, oh my goodness, like are we like, come on, like you go on the journey with Harrigan.
That's a great point.
Yeah, and you feel it.
Yeah.
Ooh, he's the surrogate for us.
And even when you think it's over because he's killed the predator and then he gets the target on him because there's more of them, like, it's not over?
Yes.
And then it's still not over because he has to run out the plane. And then it's still not over because he has to come out the dust. It just keeps going.
You can tell a horror guy did this, right? Where Glover's kind of the final, not girl, but final guy of the movie. He's even wearing a tank top, which a lot of the final girls in horror movies wear. So,
do you think the dust on his face at the end was an homage to the mud on Schwarzenegger's face?
Well, he doesn't fight anybody. He just sort of is. I see where you're going. I just think it was like him just being dirty.
The last shot of the two heroes is almost identical.
Yeah. And there is a chopper, but he doesn't get on it.
No. He's to get to it.
Baldwin does it.
Yeah.
I love this movie. Watching this again, I remember feeling like it's not a nice movie. It's called a horror detective mystery film. It's mean and it's bloody. And like you said, the final fight is 30 minutes and you go on this journey with him and you are exhausted. And it's just, he's the final guy in this show.
My biggest memory of this movie, and you guys know my mother. She is the sweetest lady on the planet. And we rented this in 1991 because I was like, Predator 2, I got to see it, Dad. And he's like, okay, so then we'll rent it. So that was one of our, like, you used to, like, rent a movie and the whole family would watch it together because it was an event. And so my mom is, like, so trusting and naive and was, like, so trusting that it starts up. And my dad says, oh, this is based on a true story. And my mom goes, oh, okay. And gets, like, very, very invested. And it was like 20 minutes in, she's like, this isn't a true story.
Aww.
Very upset that his trust was abused in that moment.
I'm kind of bummed that there's no Jamaican drug lord named King Willie whose skull goes up on the Predator's wall.
Right?
I mean, I guess those cartel gunfights go on for quite a while in the beginning that you could maybe be like, oh, it's sort of documentary-like.
It's like, I guess things are pretty rough in the States right now.
You even have people filming. It feels very almost RoboCop-y. There's no satire there. But
wow,
it does...
California, not going there on vacation.
LA is a hellscape in Predator 2.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's very much like halfway between reality and Judge Dredd.
Oh, that's a great point. Who wins, Dredd or Harrigan?
Ooh, oh man.
Stallone Dredd, Urban Dredd, Robert Harrigan. Meg, who wins?
Demolition Man.
Demolition Man wins.
Demolition Man wins that fight. Okay, that's exactly right. No, that's the perfect answer. Demolition Man.
Yep, Demolition Man comes in. Like, you're on TV. And last thing, I just want everyone to know, Bill Paxton's in this movie. And in this film, he is killed by a Yautja. In Aliens, he is killed by a Xenomorph. In Terminator, he's hit. We don't know if he dies, but he is hit.
Oh, he dies.
Okay, he dies. So he's died. But get this. Oh, wait, this is Lance Henriksen. Never mind. Let me go back. In Aliens, Bishop is torn apart by a queen alien. In, let's see, AVP, Lance Henriksen is killed by a Yautja. In Terminator, he is killed by a Terminator. In Hard Target, he's played by JCVD, who did play the Predator briefly.
Oh. Wow.
It's deep.
Wow, that's deep.
Adam just passed out.
I did.
All the blood.
Dude, Hard Target is so good.
Hey, do you want to talk about it with us? I owe an episode. The folks at Kino Lorber were awesome enough to send me one of their awesome 4Ks, so I owe them a podcast episode, which we've been meaning to get around, but it's so beautiful. So if you want to join us for a Hard Target episode.
Can I do the whole thing as Walter Brimley's like French Cajun accent?
If you don't, I will be furious.
When I think about that movie, all I can think is, no, a gator ate it.
Oh man, I love that movie. Oh, and then the great, I think one of my favorite action moments of the 1990s is when Jean-Claude Van Damme pulls it back his duster.
What's that? My hip is a gun.
To not show a gun, but his hip and his leg, because his leg is essentially a gun in that movie.
That's the second best moment in that movie. The first best is when he punches that snake.
Oh, beautiful. And there are scenes in Hard Target where he shoots the villains 6 times, and then he kicks him in the head.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, it was the prototype John Wick.
Oh yeah, but also.
Didn't we watch that with my dad, and he was just staring at the movie? And he couldn't do anything else. I
always like it when my father-in-law watches an action movie he likes, because he just won't get up. He'll just sit, like, if we're playing darts, we won't finish that dart game. Like, we were watching Ambulance, and he was glued to the couch. You put on a Scott Adkins movie, he's not moving for 2 hours. So it's lovely.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. But hey, tell them about GoFigure, and tell them about your channel. I hope I wrote.
Yeah.
Tell us. What episode did we watch that we really liked?
Making the outfits for.
Oh, we watched one, and Megan was like, "Oh, Prince of Thieves."
The Robin Hood one.
Oh
yes.
Yeah, that one's cool.
Yeah, people love that one. I think using soft goods was like a huge thing. People got a lot of comments on that one. But yeah. No, GoFigure. We take old toys and we fix them up and do custom stuff, and just essentially our idea is to take toys that we throw into the garbage and make them display shelf ready again. So we do that a lot. We have a lot of fun. There's actually an episode dropping tomorrow morning, so it'll be out by the time this is out, where Mark is a guest, where we race all the top cars from the 80s and 90s action figure lines.
Oh, I'm so excited. I know I lost, but I'm excited.
I'm not telling you who wins, Mark. But I'll say your choice was bold.
That's my style, man. I'm Austin Powers when he gambles. Like, you hit 5. You want another card? I'm good.
Would you say that you let it ride?
I let it ride.
You let it ride. But I also did, as like a little homage to you. So Mark picked the Masters of the Universe Battle Ram vehicle, but I didn't put the regular He-Man on it. I put a custom Dolph Lundgren version of He-Man on it.
Oh.
Ooh. That's pretty good.
That's what Mark needs.
Hey,
that's what he needs.
Do you have a Kurt Russell Stargate figure?
I do have a Kurt Russell Stargate figure.
Whoa. All right. We'll have to talk.
How's that? Yeah.
We'll have to talk. So right now we have 70,000 episodes lined up, but we got to do Soldier vs. Universal Soldier, Hard Target, and then Cat Week.
And Cat Week.
And then Dora.
I'm very excited for Cat Week. So Cat Week will be Beastmaster, Ghost in the Darkness. We can cover the new Idris Elba movie.
Oh, Idris.
That could be like the finale, us doing that one right away.
I'm in.
So that would be. Should we do what was that Drew Barrymore movie where she like had a cat's eye or something?
The Stephen King adaptation?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
You could do that.
Oh no. Jumanji has cats?
Garfield.
Not Pet Sematary.
Not Pet Cemetery.
What was that
No.
cat movie we watched?
Kiki's
Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry.
Mark loved it. He was engrossed.
Okay, I gotta tell you, Adam, watching Tom and Jerry, it pulled me in. I have never been pulled like one hand the last 5 years. I sat there watching Tom and Jerry, just transfixed. You have Michael Pena, you have Chloe Grace Moritz chatting with cats and mice, and I just didn't know.
At a hotel.
At a hotel, and it's just the strangest thing I've ever seen, and I was transfixed. I was Megan's dad for a couple hours.
I couldn't watch it.
I had the same effect when I was watching the new Chip and Dale movie.
Oh, love that movie.
It's so much fun.
I did not know what I was watching. Like into it, I was like, E.T. versus Batman. Like, what is happening right now? And I was sold out right away. I was just like, I'm in for this ride.
Ugly Sonic.
But for the Ugly Sonic, but for the fifth cat movie, do you guys remember the movie?
Which
the
one?
The old Disney movie, The Cat from Outer Space.
I've never seen it. Oh, there is that darn cat. With Christina Ricci and Dougie Doug, which is a remake.
No, you don't do the remake if you do that darn cat. You do the original.
Right. But The Cat from Outer Space had a collar that could make him talk and fly.
Yes.
I think we should rewatch that one.
Wait.
I remember it being bananas.
It's The Sixth Day has a cat, and you wanted to cover that.
I did want to cover that.
You probably talked to me about that 2 years ago, and we're like, yeah, let's do it. And then we picked about 14 others.
We have such like a back catalog of ideas that we can podcast forever, Mark.
Yeah. Like when the apocalypse happens, we're still going.
We're going to be retired when movies are fully interactive. Like you go there, you put a plug in the back of your head, and you play out the main character in the movie. That's what it's going to be. Whoa. And we're going to be talking about that darn cat.
And we'll be popular. We'll be the analog crew.
Absolutely.
But we'll still keep up with all the new references, so people are like, what?
Every other podcast will be a completely three-dimensional interactive format, except ours. We'll be like, no, we're just going old school.
I'm calling a Mark episode. You don't have to do it with me, Adam, but I need to do Tom and Jerry. I need to unload some things.
Oh no, I'm down for Tom and Jerry. We can put that into Cat Week.
It could be another Peter Rabbit episode for us.
Oh no.
I would love to see. Okay, I will do Tom and Jerry with you, Mark. Only if we both make 1 minute training montage videos. I could put on my GoFigure channel for us getting ready for Tom and Jerry.
I'll do it.
I think that.
I have my cats. I'll work out with them.
Yeah.
Like I'll buy a mouse.
It's like us training.
You better do a ghost. Stella might kill you.
Yeah. Ghost curls.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'm down for this.
All right, I will do it.
Adam, are you gonna use your cats too?
I'm gonna probably put CG cats into my video. I just want to up the production value a lot.
Oh yeah, that'll look great. So we'll prep for it.
No practical effects.
Put it up on YouTube. Also, I'll post it.
At like 27 pounds, I'm like, I don't want to curl this thing too often. It's gonna be too heavy.
And I teach film too, so I better shoot something pretty good.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
We can train for Cat Week.
I'll borrow a camera from school. Mark, what are you filming? Tom and Jerry video.
That was like episode 1 of Breaking Bad. You just borrow some stuff from school.
Yeah. That's how it all begins. And that's how I started my Tom and Jerry podcast.
The Tom and Jerry Minute.
We've gone from Predator to Tom and Jerry and everything in between. How about that?
All right, this is great. Well, thank you for joining me, both of y'all.
It's been a blast.
I haven't seen any of you for the entire episode, except for once when you passed out. But other than that, you guys, your cloaking units are pretty great.
Thanks for having us on, right, Meow?
Oh. Okay, I know we're saying goodbye. In the Cat Week, okay, Megan. So the three of us are doing the Cat Week episodes. I challenge you, between you and me, Megan.
Okay.
You can put more meows into our podcast.
Oh no.
And you're over the Cat Week.
Oh my gosh. Mark will kill us.
I'll do it anyway. I released that Peter Rabbit episode. That's 2 hours. That gets really dark. So I'm down for anything. Adam and I did an entire episode where we picked what candies we would put on our fists during a fight.
Yeah, it was delicious.
No, but that's a great idea.
I live on the edge. It's dangerous, but the view is great.
Did you say you're a cliffhanger?
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
Well, hey, thank you all so much for joining me.
Been the best.
All right, so for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Megan Hoffmeyer, for Adam Hodgins, this is Movie Stones and Flicks. We'll see you next week.
Meow.
Oh,